My name is Emily Spencer, and I play with the Whitetop Mountain Band. I've been a part of that band for, well, since 1975, and play banjo and have played guitar in the past. I also do a lot of teaching of old-time music. I think old-time music can cover a pretty big scope depending on where you live. I feel like different areas each have their own old-time music. Say what we have here, we would think of, the fiddle and banjo tradition, guitar playing, some blues, different kinds of gospel and ballad singing, just a big melting pot of influences from, say, European, African, everywhere, that came together. Whereas, I feel like, if you were in Louisiana, they have their old-time music. So I feel like it's something that differs from place to place. But ours is, that kind of wedding of European and African influences and so on, and different settlers coming together with their different kinds of music. Well, I think it's become more and more prevalent, and it needs to be highlighted, where maybe in the past we've kind of been pushed aside or had a decorative role or something like that. And it's very important because women have always been a part of traditional music and old-time music. So many, I know in my own instance, so many old-time women banjo players have been influential through recordings or so on. But yes, it's important that their story be told, and I feel like more and more women have become involved in the music since, I know, when I first started playing in the band, So I think it's a good future for us. Well, I know for one thing, say in the music, we'll think of the Carter family, of course. I mean, right there, two women that totally influenced the history of country music and so on right there. And then there were others like Lily Mae Ledford of the Coon Creek Girls that sung and played clawhammer, banjo, played fiddle. I was able to meet her just one time. And then like Cousin Emmy, Molly O'Day, of course Bill Monroe had bass players. I mean, there's always been women in music, and I know you'll hear people say a lot, women sung ballads at home, but I think they also, like Samantha Bumgardner and people like that, played banjos and fiddles. And yeah, I'm from Northern Virginia, and I think I've always liked fiddle music and so on like that ever since I was little, and just got so captivated that I just moved away and came down here and went to college at Clinch Valley College, because I just wanted to be where the music was. It was just like the driving force in my whole life was like, I just want to do this music. And like I said, the ones I mentioned before, Molly O'Day, great singer and banjo picker, kind of a driving style, would be an influence. Lily Mae Ledford, Carter family. And I know, back when we first started in the Whitetop Mountain Band, there weren't all that many women in the local bands. I think there were people that came in from other areas like myself, where there were more women involved. But locally, I know Patsy East was one that was with Ernest East and Pine Ridge Boys, and Pine River Boys, and Maybelle. Maybelle was a guitar player, and Aldine Lineberry played bass with Whit Sizemore. But there weren't a lot of women. Like I said, more of them were coming in from other areas and making an impact on the music. Well, I'd studied, about old-time music. Listened to a lot of it, and it's like the Mecca to come, to this area, because it's where it seems to have all come together in such a big way, and it's just a part of everybody's lives, And I think, it could have been that way. I've always thought this in other areas, but some places have lost their traditions where we've kind of kept them here. And yeah, I was just drawn to it. And like I sung and played guitar and so on like that. And I just got to listening to this kind of music. Well, I did a short stint with the band Asleep at the Wheel, which were very country at that time. And listening to the Carter family and different things of that sort. And that kind of influenced me too. Well, some of the ones that I was inspired by were already gone, but I did get to, have a gig where Lily Mae Ledford was. And of course, I played with lots of women, contemporary, nowadays, plenty of them, Marcia Todd, my daughter Martha. I mean, it's just more of a everyday thing now. I think more and more women are playing music out. I really think so, young and old. Ola Belle and Martha's dad, his mom, they were first cousins, and that is how they were related. And of course, now I'm surprised I didn't even think about her. I've been influenced by her, even though I never did meet her. I met her husband. I've not met her, but I think she was one that kind of would break down barriers. I mean, in music and in a lot of ways in life, with her philosophy of life, Ola Belle. And I think she was raised in a family, the Osborne family. I don't know if Martha talked about them or not, but they were very open-minded and open to people and took people in and fed everybody. And, and she came up in that philosophy. And she would have been my husband's second cousin or first cousin once removed. And of course, she did a lot in the music business, other than songwriting and singing and playing the banjo and running a music park and just having a great philosophy on life, I think. One thing too, to tie in a woman that really got a lot of us started in teaching old time music. There was a lady that her husband was the Lutheran minister, and he later became a luthier, named Margaret Messick, and she was a community organizer in Whitetop. And she came up with the idea of doing community music classes, because they're at Mount Rogers School, which was a K through 12 school that was up in the area that just closed in the last 10 years. But anyway, there wasn't really a music program. So she came up with the idea for this community music program, and that's how a lot of us got into teaching. It was kind of like we jumped right in. But that's been 1980, so that's been a long time ago. We had a lot of kids from the community. We had people from back this way. There were a lot of people came. Eventually, that program went into the Grayson County public schools and became a part of their curriculum, which it still is. So we taught through that for a long time. I hadn't been teaching public schools since the pandemic, but I teach at JAM. We've taught through Wilkes Community College, Wytheville Community College, private lessons, this and that, So for the last 40-some years, and hope to keep on doing it. Well, I know, like saying Grayson County schools, it was like a string band class. So you did a little teaching of fiddle, banjo, guitar, dulcimer, bass, bad mandolin playing, ukulele, And same thing with JAM, where I work at Allegheny JAM. We have several different classes we teach every day, which could be singing or dulcimer, clawhammer, banjo, band. So just a variety. Well, of course, I feel like hopefully I've made a contribution through teaching, for so long. Trying to remember some of the other part of the question. And I'm hoping, that'll go on by keeping people playing into the future. And by playing in a band, I hope that we've been able to bring joy into people's lives that carries on, And as far as innovation, I know sometimes we play things maybe that would be outside the norm of what old time bands would play, because we take breaks, or we do some original songs, or we do things from different genres. So I don't know if it's really innovative, but I feel like old time musicians, or a lot of musicians, didn't really worry about where material came from. They just played what they liked. So I kind of feel like back in the day, a long time ago, I feel like people weren't as worried about categories like, oh my gosh, that's not old time. You know what I mean? Because we've always kind of didn't feel like there were rules you had to follow. You know what I mean? Yeah, where it'd be like, that's not old time, or something like that. Yeah. Skipped over during taking breaks. Yes, that was the thing I was thinking of. Yeah. Be like, we'll give everyone a break but you in this jam session because you can't take one, Yeah, that would be, but I I don't think I've really ever felt particularly intimidated. I just felt like I'm just going to do what I do anyway, you know. But yeah, definitely being maybe not taken as seriously. Oh, I think some of it is just balancing that with everything else that goes on in your life. Is, you know, when you're a musician, you spend an awful lot of time trying to get somewhere and then trying to get back, and then you got to do this, and then you got to be there. And I think that's been the hardest part of being a musician to me, is just keeping up with everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, things have slowed down a little bit for us now, you know, but I don't see how Martha keeps up with everything myself, but oh, yeah, I don't know if that's a good answer, but just, you know, kind of balancing everything in your life with being pretty busy 7 days a week. You have to do everything around the house, or you have to do this, or and you're working on a job, and you're taking care of everything. Yeah. It's like, okay, the laundry's piled up to the sky, you know, I mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Always. It's that has always been very much hard. Yeah. And dirty dishes, and I don't feel like cooking. I just got home, you know. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same old, isn't it? I mean, that's just the way our society's functioned for so long, and they definitely need to bring more of the stories of a lot of these people. I mean, I don't know how to say, you know, people like Cousin Emmy. I mean, they've just not really made Ledford. There's been some written about some of them, but not to the degree of the others, I don't think. I don't know if that's a very good answer or not, but it's just because that's just the way it's been for a long time, but hopefully it's changing. Maybe some kind of shows that would involve several different women performers, or even if they're in bands, some with men, you know, some of them where they can be featured out as performers. Maybe some books to be written, I don't know. But I would think like showcase performing would be a good thing. And like you said, maybe even something that could travel with the exhibit. Just about anything you can possibly think of, we played for, you know. Funerals, weddings, christenings, dog shows. I mean, that wasn't in the community. But, you know, just about. It's just a part of everyday life, really. Yep. And I'd say a lot of women, too, got caught up in life and didn't get to pursue music like they would have liked to, you know. Well, it's a tie to a great tradition, and it's fun to do. I mean, you enjoy it, and it is, it's something you can do your whole life from the time you're small until you're old, and in your community, on your porch. And it brings joy to others, it brings joy to you, and it's good to keep some things still alive that go so far back, you know, to kind of keep that thread going to the past, for good things in the past. Well, I think old-time music's an oral tradition, so it's always evolving, and it's evolving now, and there are a lot of people playing it and stretching the edges, like you said, genre-free, adding other things in. I mean, there are boatloads of people, you know, that are going to keep it on. I mean, of course, my daughter and my son play, and I mean, people like Trish. I mean, I just think there's a lot of people carrying on. Trying to think right offhand. I mean, there's just a lot of young people taking it up now, I think. And I think it'll maybe get to reaching more people through maybe being put with Americana a little bit and so on like that. People like Rihanna Giddens and people like that have really taken it all over the world, you know, and brought in a new awareness. I mean, they're just, I think there's a good future. At one point in time, it could have been in danger of dying out a little bit. But I think it's pretty healthy now, and a lot of educational programs keeping it going. I do feel like it's, you know, in pretty good hands. A lot of people doing it now, and a lot of opportunities. And of course, the internet has opened up opportunities for people that didn't have them before, where you had to go to the porch, you know, to learn from somebody one-on-one, which is kind of what I did, you know, go to the source. But now you can find the source just about anywhere you are. Here, you knew you were coming into the place where music's just a part of life. I mean, it's a part of everyday life, really. Yeah.